Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Just keep your hands where I can see them. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
No, I'm only under one influence.
What's that?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
Let's just go, man. Whenever you're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Under the Influence. I'm one of your four co-hosts, Jude Crane. It's nice to meet you. You come here often? I'm joined by my three other co-hosts, Jerry Crane, Levi Thiessen, and Byron Thiessen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Screwed it up, Levi.
We have to start over.
Can we start over again?
Yeah.
Run it back.
All right. Go ahead. No, not really. Good to be back.
It is good to be back. What do you mean by that, Jerry?
Good to be back. Right in this
What do you
little
mean by
seat.
that?
Right in this little seat.
Have you been
Squishy.
gone?
Since you've been... Yeah, I've been...
Since you've been gone.
Yeah, what's happened since I've been gone?
Well, Jerry, since you've been gone, we've been getting up to a lot of shenanigans.
Ew.
Byron, what? Byron and I recorded an episode with a great guest. I hope to have him back on soon.
I heard it was good.
was very good.
Your adorations, your accolades of this guest, your accolades.
I was like, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
I mean,
guy rocks.
this episode will already be out by the time this goes out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last episode.
I hope you loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, it will be really funny. Well, it wouldn't be funny, but if people hated it because Jude...
That
was
would be
like-
hilarious.
That wouldn't be funny. Actually, that'd be really sad.
That would be very sad.
I asked Jude, because, like, I have a problem. And, you know, that is that, like, when I can't have my little fingers involved in things, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how they're going to go because I'm not there to watch them fail or succeed. And so I was out of town. Levi was out of town with me. And they had to record an episode.
Boys trip.
Well, we were going to record one with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But then things didn't work out.
Levi didn't show up, so we had to
That's
get
a
on
dirty,
it.
rotten
That's
lie.
what happened.
It is what happened.
That's
from
what I remember.
I was there.
And last minute, the guest came in and saved the day.
Absolutely.
The next day.
But,
I was there the entire time that I was able to record. And
well, to be fair,
somebody didn't show up.
you guys were supposed to record one the first show, too. Like, so-
Interesting.
yeah, that was what you and I had talked about.
I didn't hear about that
I think
until
so.
after I was already
Didn't know
there.
about that.
Jerry told me
because
that.
it never happened.
But I did tell Jude. That
No.
may have been my mistake. I
He
didn't
may have
make it.
texted me. He may have even Discord messaged me. And
I woofed you.
there's a chance he even talked to me in
him?
real life. But
Yes, from
odds are
the
it
hit
didn't
TV
happen.
show The Office. A woof is
I forgot about Wolf.
you get a text message,
No,
a phone call.
I have started woofing someone, basically.
Yeah.
What? Is that what you and Levi were doing on your little trip?
Whenever I need to get a hold of Levi, historically speaking, just texting him isn't enough.
This is true.
And so every form of communication I can possibly obtain. I have done that before. Where you asked me last night, you were like, oh, did you email me too? And I was like, no. But that has happened.
But he did email.
There was
my
one time
goodness.
where I literally couldn't get a hold of him. I texted him, I called him, I Discord messaged him, and then I emailed him. And then I saw him the next day and was like, dude. No, what were we talking about? Yeah, I just remember like being like, I wonder how that episode went. Like, not only was I not there, Levi wasn't there, so it was just the two of you, and you had to get a guest, and a guest that, like, you know, I don't think listens to the podcast.
I don't think he listens too much. No.
Which is fine,
He
but
hears
I just-
conversations that I have with him, and then
Yeah.
you talk
But
to him.
he's a cool kid, and I was like, all right, I have no idea how this is going to go. And then Jude was like, it went so well. And then he's like, Aid was born for podcasting.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. That's
He was
literally
really good at, like-
the highest praise I've heard Jude say
There
about
was
any
not
guest.
even any picking. He would just like volunteer, like great stories. He had a way of talking. He was just good. He was good on mic. I signed him. I'm his agent now.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, we got to pick this kid up before somebody else does.
I probably couldn't do that.
Jude,
No.
Jude has never given such praise, and I want all the other guests to hear this about any of you.
None of you. Not even you.
You've all been great. I think you've been great.
The one I'm talking to right now, I'm looking in your eyes. Yeah.
Bryce,
Not
I
even
think
you.
you were great.
What about me?
Yeah, I know you were talking about Bryce, Levi.
Oh, I wasn't talking about Bryce, but
What about me when I was a guest?
When you were, well, you clearly worked out.
Okay.
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 But you know who you are. All of you guests out there that still listen.
I mean, Jude was the holdout vote.
Oh.
He didn't want to vote you in.
Well,
yeah, it was definitely
true.
Jude.
It's true.
But no, I think you were all great. And Jude apparently thinks you were terrible.
Yes.
That's how logic works.
Essentially.
By saying one person is great, everybody else is terrible.
I think there's a name for that.
A straw man?
It's like a different one.
Oh, a burning man?
Idiot.
Idiot. Oh, me?
No, just like
A false equivalency?
something. There's a thing for like
logical
I said
fallacy.
this, so I must also mean this, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh.
Something silly, I'm sure.
Some
Well,
silly Billy.
If one thing is true, then the opposite has to be false, right?
Correct.
No, both the opposite and
Superman.
must be true.
isn't that
If water is wet, it must also be dry. That's how it works.
Air horn, maybe?
Howard the shows.
Howard the what?
Howard
The show.
Howard the show?
Howard the show. Well, the guy that runs the show, his name is Howard the show.
Really?
That's why they call it a show.
The shows were good. Actually exceptionally good. I mean, we went to the county fair in Redmond, Oregon, and that one, so fun. That's my favorite show to do. It's the busiest and most work, and we come back absolutely exhausted. And these are the only two shows we do in the summer. So for those listening that might not know, if you're not a longtime listener, I do Christian influence stuff, but my primary job is working with my dad at Susie Q's Kettle Corn, running that. It's a kettle corn company. We sell kettle corn all over Oregon, and then we go to fairs and stuff too and do it live.
We're doing it live.
Whoop, whoop. And we had 2 county fairs in the summer that we do, and they're back to back, which is not fun because the first one is so busy and crazy always. And then we immediately turn around and go do one that's much slower, but still worth doing. And it's just that, like, so for me, I've been working a lot the last 3 weeks. Actually, my first day off was really yesterday, I guess, but I had a lot to do yesterday. And it's just because, like, we work really, really hard the week before to get everything at the shop good. And then we leave and go straight to Redmond and set everything up. And then we work, like, we were working like 16 and 17-hour days for 4 days or 5 days straight, and then come back and then work a half day and then turn right around and go do it all again. And it's difficult. Like, my heart really goes out to the people who do that. Like, that's their job, you know, like from carnival to carnival to carnival. Like, man, there's some guys that I know and I see every year who do that. Like, they just did 1 or 2 before these 2, then they do these 2, then they go down to California and do at least 2 more. I'm like,
Oh my
dude,
gosh.
I can't imagine. Like,
I know last time I did the show in Medford, they were talking about like bingo, the group, because we stayed in a hotel with other vendors for the show. And they had like bingo cards for each show they go to.
Oh, those
if
are the
they see this
sportsman
guy-
shows.
Yeah, those are the sportsman
Yeah.
shows. But just like going to so many different places that you develop.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we saw the local insane person. Free space.
so those ones are interesting, and those ones are in like the winter/spring. But yeah, those ones are the same show, and you follow it from town to town to town. And so yeah, when we do those, we do like 4 in a row, and they're the same group of people. And so it is cool and unique because you get to, like, here's your buddies at the very beginning. You're in it until the end with these guys, like, from town to town to town. And that's cool. And those ones are easier to do because they're just weekends. But these ones are just back-to-back county fairs in 2 separate counties that are like 3 hours apart in Oregon. But the first one, it was our historically best year we've ever had at this fair. I just hit my knee into that doctor thing on accident.
Yeah.
Ooh. I just did it again. The Dwight Schrute thing makes my speech better.
Does he do that?
That's the Mussolini thing that
Yeah.
Dwight Schrute does.
When he's up there and they're like, you and then all the salesmen are like,
Because he literally just takes one of Mussolini's speeches and just makes it about salesmen instead of Italian nationalism.
I don't like how far away this computer is. Oh, you guys don't have headphones. It would be fun to watch it, but whatever. And maybe Tim can just put in a little, like, semi-transparent Dwight Schrute. And I just love how he's yelling this, but he's making it about salesmen or sales, and then he goes, yeah, right at the end.
Yeah.
And he's just it's funny.
And
I
then-
just watched an Office compilation last night of stuff. That show's so funny. No. Historically best year we've ever had at that fair, though. Long answer to your question. I'm sorry. Redmond went really, really well, and I mean, so good.
Would you rather have it be slow and then no?
No. I was thinking about that as I was saying it. I was like, no, I'm actually happy that it's absolutely killer. And then,
They could just be done
And
with.
then Roseburg.
yeah, it's easy to complain and be like, oh, at least the last one was, but no, Roseburg is great. And I love that fairground. It's interesting and pretty, and it's like cool and unique, and you see a lot of unique people. And
We saw quite a few celebrity lookalikes. Well, at least one of them was a celebrity to us, but then the other two
talking about
were-
Wendigoon?
Dude, we saw a guy. He
looked
just like
dressed,
Wendigoon?
looked.
Dressed,
he had the same hair. He had the same beard.
he had the same pursed lips. You know how Wendigoon's always kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 100%
to him?
when.
no,
No,
Whoa, it was Wendigoon.
no, it wasn't.
it wasn't.
No, it
When
wasn't.
when
Definitely-
he got
did
like
have the same hair.
when he was about 10 feet away.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that it wasn't Wendigoon, and I was so disappointed because he wore the exact Wendigoon, like the
Button-up,
Hawaiian
colorful,
and
yeah.
like the shorts and
And he walked like him.
and
I've
he
never
walked
seen Wendigoon
like
walk, but I imagine.
he did walk like a Wendigoon.
You
had
walk
a
just like him
broken
on
arm?
all fours at the tips of his fingers?
Yeah,
Only on his Ugh. No, he had the same type of hair. So if it was longer, he would have had the same hair.
see.
But it was that like Uncle Joey from Full House, almost kind of poofed in the front and then like parted.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. Wish I had hair like that.
Some people can pull it off. I wish.
Some people can grow it for one.
That's true. This is true.
the only thing was his beard was a little bit long and a little bit more full,
Disgusting.
and his cheekbones it was a little bit more puffy.
He was too perfect. Is
Too perfect. Too Wendigoon.
Too beautiful.
Wendigoon's great.
Wendigoon's great. But then we also saw, at least I saw, Carl.
Sagan?
Carl Weezer.
No. No, it was that kid that came up. He was like a young.
Oh, he looked like the kid from Shameless.
Yeah.
Could I get a bag of kettle corn?
You're a cartoon.
No.
And
we don't like
I
cartoons,
also
right?
saw a woman that, who's the girl from Miss Congeniality?
No idea. Never seen it.
I don't even know what.
You did ask me on the show, like, have you ever seen Miss
Julia Roberts?
Julius Roberts.
Julia's Roberts.
Wait,
Julia's
is that what her
Robert?
name is?
Julia Roberts. That's
Julia
the girl
Roberts,
from
that's
Miss
the-
Congeniality
that's-
and The Proposal, right?
Yeah.
Wait. And
Yes.
The Proposal?
The Proposal. Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
It's Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, Sandra
Sandra
Bullock.
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock's who.
Because we had
is
this
who
conversation,
was.
and then you said somebody else. Or some
I
other
just
movie,
got
and I
Miss Congeniality recommended to me. It looked like the most ridiculous. I didn't watch it.
I mean,
'cause
it's
it
kinda
looked
funny.
silly. Is it good?
It's pretty funny. It's
Oh.
No, but she looked exactly like her, except a little bit younger and like,
I saw her. She was
Smaller.
like 5.
You look just like Sandra Bullock. A little bit younger.
He's wrong.
no, but she looked exactly like her, and I was like, oh my gosh, but I couldn't remember the name. All I could think of were the movies that she was in.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, but I can't say anything at that point.
Miss Congeniality.
The Blind Side.
The Blind Side.
The Proposal? Was Sandra Bullock in Heat?
Yeah, she was the other person.
I remember at all.
other person?
Not in the old Heat,
Isn't-
the new one. The
There's
terrible
an old one.
There's
The new one with Melissa
the shootout?
McCarthy.
Yeah.
We're talking about
With Schumer or whatever it is.
Melissa McCarthy.
I mean, they're the same person.
Wait, Melissa McCarthy is in the new Heat. Heat is the movie where they rob a bank, right? And it's known for its
They're
shootout.
like cops.
He is where it's like two cops. One's
You're
like
imagining
easygoing. One's
something like an actual good movie, like a serious
Yeah, I
movie.
thought
Yeah.
there was like that
this
movie
is-
that they train
This is
police
a really
officers on.
bad comedy.
Hold on. Heat
It's
is not
called-
the name of that movie.
No, it's called The Heat. Is the one that you're talking about.
Oh.
And they're like cops, and they're women, and
And they're women?
They're
one's-
women, and they're cops.
Yeah, and well, I guess that's the whole
The
point of the movie. They're
Heat.
funny. They're supposed to be funny.
Oh.
What is movie or is Heat a movie?
Heat is a movie. Yeah,
Heat is a movie.
Robert De Niro. It's like known for the shootout movie.
Can you imagine being like one of the best, whatever shootout movies ever, and then being like, well, let's make a movie and just put the in front of it, and it's
about a lady
wildly
cop.
different.
It's a spin-off comedy of
Of
the original?
Heat, of Heat. The Heat is the spin-off.
They
and
couldn't
make
get the
fun of
rights
the
to
Heat.
make it as close as they wanted.
De Niro's
so they
just
just
like
made it a comedy.
this troubled bank robber, and then in The Heat, he partners up with two silly cops.
What if they were in the same universe? Like in the Heat somewhere. They're like
Robert
they're
De Niro is just like
arresting Robert De Niro
in the
and he's like-
background.
Yeah, Robert De Niro's this terribly dark character. Yeah.
He's just all pouty.
Levi, do you remember the movie that Mom showed us that was literally all universes of movies were all in one? All movies were in one universe.
How could they do that?
What?
And so it's like that's just.
Are you talking about
non-concept.
Last Action Hero
Last Action Hero, yeah.
with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Where the kid gets the ticket and he goes to a theater and he's the only one in it, and then he gets sucked into an action movie.
Yeah, he gets sucked
and then
into the action
he's
movie.
in an action movie, and everything that happens off screen is every single movie is there, and they're all real people walking around doing their daily lives.
I've
And
heard
then-
so much
kinda
about
like
it, but
that.
I've never seen it.
There's a few movies like that, like all the Looney Tunes movies are all like
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of like the Looney Tunes, but I think
Chip
this
and
is all
Dale.
just action hero movies.
yeah,
action
but
movies, and it's
he's
so
like
funny.
the last action hero is like the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
The kid is the last action.
No,
I assume Arnold is.
Arnold.
Listen, you are the last action hero.
okay.
I need you to find this gun with this man. I did just watch. I've been watching Steven Seagal movies.
Why would
Like
you
when
do
he
that?
was not before the funny era of Steven Seagal, where he's just like fat and sitting
where
down.
he just like does every single movie that
But when he was a cop and he runs like
he goes like this.
Dude, the one I want marked for death opens up with him chasing like this Colombian drug kingpin
Yeah.
or whatever, and the kingpin is like the actor is giving 110%, shoving extras out of the way. Like he jumps through this window at some point and he just takes like a super hard fall, even if it's a stuntman. It's like crazy. And then rounding the corner comes Steven Seagal, and he like kind of hurdles over like a melon or something, and then just tackles a guy.
Wow, he hurdles a melon.
Like literally, like he goes, and it's a melon, and he's just gets the guy on the ground. Why'd you run off like that for? He's just got a ponytail.
didn't know I was gonna catch you.
Looks like somebody's.
Have you
marked
seen
for death.
Have you seen his early stuff before he gets more hair? Where
No.
he's like showing off his like martial arts skills.
That's what this is, but he has the ponytail.
But like it's not in a movie. It's like his real life. They like interview him.
Oh.
So it's like this old 80s like real grainy film like for some like news network or something. And he's just like showing off, so he's got like the full like get up.
Yeah.
Full
regalia.
gi. And,
He's full regalia.
And he's just doing it and he's like talking about it all and he just sounds like some Redditor.
What's crazy about this move is we're gonna flip the guy. He's a cool guy. The movie's great.
He's an
Don't watch
interesting
Marked for
guy.
Death. It's not appropriate.
People really don't like him.
Yeah, I can't imagine
People,
why.
there's a lot of accusations, and whenever anyone brings it up, he just walks away.
Well, yeah. Supposedly he just beats on the stuntman. Like
Yeah.
straight up just hits him as hard as he can. Which is
Yeah,
cool.
I've heard that story. There's
but
a
man,
lot of
it's a funny
stuntmen
movie.
that would stand there and like I think in a Corridor Digital video, right?
Yeah,
There's
they
a
talk
there's
about
a
it.
Guy De Silva. Or
Guy De
whatever.
Silva, yeah.
I think that's his name.
He was like the stuntman for Black Panther, and
And he was with Steven Seagal one time, and Steven Seagal just like punched him right in the gut, you know, just like, and he's like, you know, like,
it's because Seagal is the last true action hero.
yeah.
frankly. I would love a remake.
All of his things are like they zoom in on his hands and then zoom back, and they zoom in on hands that are like doing something and then zoom back because he's not actually
Because he's
fighting.
not actually
Even in the
there.
early stuff, when he has a gun, he has like this little pistol, and he's chasing that Colombian guy through this building, and the way he's like breaching and clearing rooms is just he's got his partner beside him. This arm that's holding the gun completely dead, and he's just like, huh? Hey. Clear. And he just like literally throws himself from shoulder to shoulder to the wall. So he's like, takes a peek, throws his shoulder against the other wall, takes a peek in the room.
He's
Because
just
like
like
all of his movements are just like
he's just come back from the dead, like Princess Bride in that
Yeah.
part of the movie.
yeah. Essentially, that is actually really accurate. He looks like Wesley when Wesley's like leaning around.
yeah.
Wow, I just referenced that last night.
When he gets because the whole thing is like he's chasing this drug kingpin.
Yeah.
And he ends up shooting this lady who's evil. She pulls a gun on him. And he goes, and then I gotta retire. I killed an innocent lady. He keeps saying that, but the woman pulled a gun on him. So he goes back to his hometown, and he's like walking up to his high school, and they're playing football, and the coach is there. The coach, Keith David, I think, is the voice of the Arbiter in Halo. He's like, got room for one more, coach? And he just walks up with this like ridiculously glossy, puffy winter coat, and he's just like, it's adding like an extra 2 inches to his width, and he's just like, got room for another player, coach? Chucks the ball. It's such a good movie. You gotta watch it.
That was Steven Seagal?
That's Steven Seagal.
Dude, Steven Seagal, what's funny, in all of his newer movies, there will be like times where like he looks up that he needs to get onto the roof, and then he's just there.
Yeah.
They never show him going up a flight of stairs ever.
anything.
Because you know that they just had to use a crane to get him up. Because he wasn't going to walk up those stairs on his own. Dude, not because he's
Entirely
lazy,
possible.
not because he's like...
Because he's too
Because he's too good to walk up a set of stairs.
It's too good. In his new movies,
At least that's
he
my
is
headcanon.
ironically sitting down a lot. Like it's pointed out. Like he does a lot of war movies where he's just in the Middle East.
There's
generally
there's
somewhere.
so many scenes in movies. Like I went on a binge and watched a bunch of stuff from his movies, and like he's just sitting down and he's talking to somebody, and then he's narrating over the top of it.
And it's just a cacophony of...
And it's just a cacophony of words
Yeah.
that don't make any sense.
If you haven't watched any Steven Seagal's movies, the new ones are great and appropriate, and the old ones are less appropriate. Maybe don't watch all of them, but even better.
Yeah, he
Steven
got into
Seagal.
a lot of trouble
Last action
from a
hero.
lot of stuff from the...
Yeah, he's not supposedly a great guy behind the scenes, but his action movies, killer.
Oh,
But imagine being arrested by Steven Seagal.
When he was a cop,
When he
for
was a
very
cop.
brief
was
stint.
he really a cop?
He had a show like
He had a
Cops,
show.
where he had some level of jurisdiction.
Like, he was... Like, I don't know how much of a joke he was on the force to, like, the rest of the people.
Let's find out.
But
Probably a large one.
But there's also video of him, like, showing off, like, how good he's a marksman and whatever. It's so bad.
In 2009, he came out with a reality TV show called Steven Seagal Lawman. It followed him around as a reserve deputy chief in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana,
Reserve deputy chief.
as well as a reserve deputy in Maricopa County, Arizona. Louisiana. That was when he was going through his, like, 12 different regional accent thing.
Yeah.
What?
Completely normal dude to be like, hey, what are you doing? And then he went to Louisiana. He's like, I can't even really do an impression of what he's doing without being insensitive.
Insensitive. It's just an impression. Do a
Right,
Louisiana
yeah,
impression.
yeah.
Go.
I will do Steven Seagal doing
Louisiana.
Hey, man, what you talking about, man? You better cut that out right now. Cut that jib out right now, man.
Wow.
Man, what you walking around like this, man? You know, why do I keep going? Why do I keep finding you around these corners, man?
That's pretty
Why you keep
accurate.
running around, man? What you trying to prove to somebody, man? That's
He really
kind of...
He was really like, he really fit in with the locals.
You really fit in with the locals, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
Louisiana.
cool guy. Louisiana.
That almost sounds kind of Brooklyn-y too. Almost.
It's weird, yeah. I'm trying to do my best without being a little too stereotypical of, Louisiana.
No, I mean people from Louisiana have a certain way they sound.
Right.
And people from
I'm not talking about people from Louisiana.
No.
people from Oregon have a certain way they sound.
Sure.
Normal.
Yeah, we sound normal.
Normal.
No. Normal.
I wish we could hear the Pacific Northwest accent.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I pick up on what it must be. Like there's
It's-
I think that we mix a lot of our words together kind of in weird spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like certain vowels with certain consonants just kind of disappear into one another.
Disappear, and then like the ends of your sentences always tail, like drop.
Oh, do we? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
We start off strong and then
we don't
taper
do
off.
anything about it.
Taper off.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that not everybody?
Well, in the South, they start off like this, and then they get real into it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and then like Brooklyn is like just strong through the whole thing.
That's Brooklyn.
Dimsdale does
That's,
no.
that's probably what Brooklyn
That's
sounds.
Brooklyn?
I've never been to Brooklyn.
Psychopath.
You've never been to Brooklyn?
But work in the Brooklyn.
You've been to New York though.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
true.
Brooklyn in New York or something?
Brooklyn, New York. So
Yeah, haven't you been there?
But
I
he
don't
was
think I
in New
went
York.
through
He
New
was
he was in New York, New York.
sitting on so nice.
I was
to
in
name
New
his
York, New
place.
York.
New York, New York.
I went to the Rockefeller. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I'd gone on that trip.
You should have.
Did you not go to DC?
I wish I had gone to DC too.
Didn't really have the money.
It's 3 times more expensive than, if that, than the Mexican one. So it's
The
Yeah.
Mexico.
the Mexico one.
the Mexican one.
Mexican trip. The Mexican trip. It's not
Yeah, I
wrong.
think it's more than 3 times. Yeah.
Well, the Mexico
It's thousands of dollars, right? It's at least
Yeah.
$2,000.
It's 2,000.
2000, like
When I went to
2,500.
Mexico, it was like $400.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
just a few hundred.
Yeah, I know that the DC trip was very expensive, very much worth it when I went.
Yeah, you have to.
but
If you
it's-
care. If you don't, it's not worth it.
Dude, I would have loved to
completely
see
think
Broadway.
that,
though.
like, you should go if you're interested.
Yeah,
But if you're
listen,
not interested-
you should go if you're interested.
It's a lot of money.
Broadway
No,
was
I think it sounds like the Broadway thing.
Broadway was really cool.
That's true.
but
Broadway was
also
awesome.
very dirty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
very
I'm
like
sure.
it just seemed really dingy, kind of an idea.
I just wish I had been able to see the Phantom of the Opera
Dude,
on stage.
that would have been so
That
cool.
would have been so cool.
That one.
Just saying. I mean,
What did you see?
There are people. And I'm not gonna say who, but there are a group of men planning a special day that we're all gonna go do. Phantom of the Opera.
On Broadway?
No, it doesn't have any. Actually, I'd rather see it at the Keller anyway.
Shoot, that would have been good to know.
That would have been well.
Guys, we got to talk after this podcast.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
How much is a ticket to?
Probably very expensive. Someday I'd like to go to like the Keller
for
Auditorium
just a few hours just to watch.
because I've heard that it's way better at the Keller than it is like Broadway.
Oh, I'm sure.
Where's the
Broadway,
Keller?
the Broadway
I
stages
think
are
that's
tiny.
Portland
Is that
or
Portland?
Vancouver.
There's one in Eugene that's actually phenomenal.
But,
The
like-
theater in Eugene.
Dad's been to the one in Portland. David's been to the one in Portland, and I don't know if David actually saw it. He might have seen something else.
I thought David didn't like musicals.
David loves Phantom.
David doesn't like
Well, he
Phantoms.
really likes it.
I was excited for the play. I wish we would have saw like Les Mis or something.
Les
something
Mis.
guys-
What did you see?
We saw Phantom, and Phantom was good. Yeah, that
You're
was-
the problem. You understand that, right?
no.
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 Byron.
Because all preparing for this stinking DC trip, all I wanted to see was Phantom of the Opera.
What did you
And
see?
all Mr. Bentley, whom I love, would say was, "We've done it every time.
That's what he told me,
They
too.
keep complaining. We're gonna see something different."
I wasn't
What did you see?
complaining.
What did
I
you
still-
see?
We saw Anastasia, which was phenomenal. It was seriously so good. Like I loved it.
But you didn't see.
But I would have rather did.
So you and me, let's go see Phantom at the Keller.
Wait, what
No,
about
no,
me? Can I?
You saw it in DC.
You got to see
I
it
never
in
went to
DC,
DC.
or Mexico.
Hey, Dad, you don't
saw
remember?
it
You
in
don't remember?
Mexico.
Phantom
I
of the
saw it
Opera.
in Mexico.
That's remember
During
those
VBS,
kids- it was all in
during
Spanish.
VBS, we taught them to do Phantom.
Like, okay, kids, you.
All right.
Your motivation.
Your motivation, you wear this mask for you are ugly. Not you really, the character
It's
that you
called
play.
acting.
It's
You are
acting.
disfigured, horrific, ugly, burned. All right,
The
good. now go.
crashing chandelier was just terrifying.
You had to dingle a kid because you didn't have a chandelier.
We-
As a
you are a chandelier.
Kids just holding 2 candles, like suspended by a rope.
And then we just cut the rope.
This never happened ever.
Like, I'm gonna catch you.
I hope that chandelier doesn't fall.
All right, there's a trap door beneath the stage. There's not really trap door. There's a trap door. We've got a we've got a beanbag chair underneath that'll catch you.
So your job as the Phantom is to break the chandelier kids fall with your body. So just get right underneath them.
So
That would've been fun.
But in all honesty, Phantom was really good.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see.
Sure,
some
now
other
you
ones
say
too.
that. Now you know
No.
that we all love Phantom.
I was the one that got to see it. So it's okay.
Oh yeah, I guess sitting in this room, you're the only one that saw it.
This is
I,
true.
I got to see it. It was good. They had
you
a lot
didn't
of good
even want
musicals.
to.
No,
one
I did.
person
I
that
voted.
didn't
I
even
voted
want
for
to.
it. My first vote was Phantom.
Oh, okay.
My
In
second was Les Mis.
retrospect-
In retrospect, I've been like,
You would rather see
think-
Phantom maybe at the place where it's heard to be better.
Yeah.
And have seen Les Mis on Broadway.
Les Mis
I
or
don't
something.
think we got to vote.
We got to vote. We had a vote of 5 of
You
them.
didn't get to vote.
And, like,
they
no,
got
we
to
didn't
vote.
We could have done.
because they had already done it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have done Les
Lion
Mis.
Les
Lion
Mis would've
King.
been
Lion King would have.
They would
crazy.
not let us do witches or cats. I don't think so. They kept
That's probably
us-
good.
Huge bummer there.
But those are those are the 5 that we could
man.
see. Like
Pretty sure Cats has some interesting actual meanings behind it. So
Yeah.
It does?
yeah, the guy that wrote it,
Yeah, it's got some like
it's like some like
themes.
It's
and
class
stuff.
critique, is it not?
So with the vote, though, since Jude was saying that he was upset that we got to vote, the vote was just all skewed because everyone was like, I don't know what plays to see. Let's just see Phantom of the
so you see the
Opera.
first one.
And then some of the classmates that I had and some of the people that went were the jocks that were like, I don't really know what I want to see. Like,
We're really like dogging on.
yeah, we're dogging
on jocks.
There was a couple of them that were that way.
I don't know, cats are cool, I guess.
I like cats more than dogs, so.
My girlfriend really likes her cat.
What is this?
Jocks are the ones that would be like radically changed by cats.
Yes.
That was amazing. The social commentary.
The social commentary.
I think most of them chose Phantom of the Opera because that was the only one they knew, and they didn't want to go watch Lion King.
Yeah.
But dude, for people
Had
that
Gerard's
don't enjoy
bro-
plays as much, probably would enjoy Lion King more, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
When did Gerard Butler's Phantom of the Opera come out?
The movie?
Yeah.
Like
And-
2000, let me guess. I'm going to guess 2003.
Oh, shoot.
okay.
I was
So
going
it
to go
was-
2008.
So is
I was
that
gonna go
well
eight.
before?
2008? Obama was elected in 2008. You're telling me that movie came out then?
Dude, I remember Obama's election.
Great,
Like
but
when
that's-
his acceptance thing came in.
6 years
we
old.
stopped
So
school.
you remember
to watch
Obama's
that.
election. Do you remember the release of Phantom of the Opera?
No, because
Exactly.
I hadn't seen it until after I graduated.
Oh, well.
We're looking it
I'm
up.
changing my
Maybe
answer.
2005. But
2005.
it was 2005?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. 3?
Right after, I was like, well, maybe 2005.
Oh,
And she was
I
like,
didn't hear that.
2005.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, never mind. 1943. You're wrong.
Oh, 1943, Phantom of the Opera.
Gerard Butler's original. Who's the actress in that? Emmy Raw.
No idea. Girl from Shameless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great actress.
Great.
Great actress.
Oh, but her best friend in that show is the girl in Once Upon a Time.
I meant like a big name, like Robert Downey. She's huge. Like great actress. She's huge, but she's a great actress.
He would say something like that. Like,
Wonderful actress. Great actress. I love everything. I mean, she's large, but huge. I mean, people say she's large.
I didn't say it.
I would never say that. But people say she's
People
large.
say, people say she's
Living large. Living la vida loca. Living la vida loca. People say she's living la vida loca. I don't know.
Dude,
I would never say that.
Say what you want about him and whether you voted for him or liked him or not, but I do just miss watching the news or whatever and seeing like, this just in, the president said this, and it cuts over to like, dude,
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
At least you
He's
could
funny.
understand what he was saying.
He's
Well,
funny,
no, but
and
at
even
least-
if it was a tragedy, it
even if you hated every word he was
was a
saying,
fun tragedy.
it was like
it's a funny-
looking at someone who was just so ridiculously funny to listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
There are videos of people falling down the stairs where the person probably got hurt, and the video is very funny.
yeah.
And I think, I think Trump was more like running up the stairs.
Have you seen?
You know what
Like
I'm
a
saying?
clown running upstairs.
Yeah, with giant shoes. It's
There-
hilarious.
But at least he's running upstairs.
Right. Did he push his siblings out of the way? Maybe.
Have you seen
Did
where he
his
falls
siblings-
over on his bike?
Break bones?
That was
Trump?
Biden, not Trump. On his bike?
Oh, I thought we were
Biden.
talking about Biden.
No. No. I would never
Wait, did
describe
Trump
Biden
fall?
as running up the stairs in a million years.
He can't.
He's barely making it down him, dude. No, there's the video of Biden falling off his bike, which is unfortunate.
I saw a video of a guy that recreated the entire scene at the same location, but he's just a young guy doing it, and he had the sound from the Biden scene, and he just like did it all at the exact, and it looks so. It just looks hilarious.
Trump talked about it, and he was like, regardless how you feel about this, it's just funny because he's like, I'm not going to ride a bike. You're not going to see me ride a bike.
Yeah, there's
Never
something-
ride bikes.
Matt Walsh often talks about how, like, there's this idea in America. And I kind of agree with this, I think, to a certain extent. I don't agree as strongly as he says it, but how the president, everybody always feels like they need to make presidents relatable. Or like there's this idea that it's like, you could crack open a cold one with that. I just like to do it. You and I could hang out on a Saturday night at the campfire. Like,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want him to be relatable. I don't want to be able to relate to this guy. I want him to be serious, like a serious leader. And I think to a certain extent, it makes sense. You don't need to be like, howdy ho, guys. I'm just riding my bike and eating an ice cream cone. Like, it's
I
kind
love
of,
ice cream cones.
it's kind of weird. I think it's, But I wonder how far back it goes to, like, you know, presidents.
He does love his ice cream.
Kissing babies or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's the weird
JFK.
relatable thing. Like, oh, give me your baby.
How
I'll
is
hold
that a
your baby.
relatable thing?
Give me
thought
your
that it was
baby
just
so that I may
Oh,
kiss
give us the blessing of
Give
the
us the
Emperor
blessing
of the United
of the
States.
power.
Well, the Kennedys might have actually had some of that dark power.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was strange.
That's why the CIA had to like use
Beautiful
multiple
baby.
bullets.
It's like Aragon.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking.
And then JFK is like, but he knows what he's doing.
What is that called?
The Gedway Ignazia.
Where do you think JFK is
I'm really revealing something here.
Getaway Ignazia is?
His belly button.
Inside of his belly button, he has to invert it, and then you see.
Can't like Aragon heal people by touching them with his Gateway Ignazia? Because he can channel magic?
Excuse me. So the Gedway Ignazia is the permanent scar and marking of a dragon rider.
Right.
And it puts it on your palm and down on your wrist and stuff. And it glows when he uses magic, and it's his connection to his dragon. But he can't just go like touch you with his scar.
So if I give myself a scar, I'll
But
have
it
a
is
connection
like,
to the
it is
dragon.
the visual, it is a visual.
It's like his arcane focus.
Right. So having it in your belly button would be awesome.
He doesn't have to touch people with it. Like, I think he does for connection. So like when he heals someone, he puts his hand above them.
It's like Tony Stark's arc reactor, except it's on your belly button.
Wait, if you have an Audi, it could go any direction. Just
Yeah.
but it needs focus.
like refracting light.
yeah.
There's actually a superhero on My Academia that has the
belly button,
the
yeah.
belly button,
Like
thing.
repulsor?
It is
Yeah.
literally
So when
a
he's
naval laser.
they call it the navel laser. So when he's young, he doesn't actually,
laser.
he just has this hole in his shirt because it like randomly will like shoot out beams of power,
Energy.
and so they give him this belt that helps him focus it. Yeah, but
Yes.
it's his belly button. It's his belly button. And so he has this giant.
Is it like a gem focus?
You gem focus
Just
on
like
it,
Cyclops.
and he goes like
Yes.
this. Belly button beam.
Oh my gosh. Cyclops and X-Men, his thing, like it will always be going, so they have to give him those glasses with rubies that will focus.
Yeah.
And then he can like flip
Kind
the
of.
visor, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't he in a top tier mutant power level?
Omega level? I
Omega
don't know.
level?
I don't think so.
I thought he was like one below.
So
it.
I don't think he's
he
Omega
is.
level. If Phoenix is Omega
Do you
level.
want to?
I mean, I know that their
Let's
kids
put more
are.
money down.
That feels like something they added like in the 2000s. They were like,
What about
Omega
his
levels?
beams can go back in time or something.
His beams can go back.
They actually can. They go speed of light.
Faster than the speed.
They go faster than the speed of light, so they do actually travel time.
Can you imagine you're just like in the 50s, you're Hitler, you know, and then a beam comes out of nowhere, and then Cyclops in the year 2030 is like, got him.
No, it's like throughout all of history, at any place where there's ever a battle with Cyclops, there's just random beams going off like once every like 100 years or something. So you're just like walking around with Aristotle, and then all of a sudden, oh, what was that? I think something's changed
in the
in
year
me.
2020
And then Aristotle becomes like who he is because he just wants to study like what it
He
is.
is Omega level.
He is Omega
An
level.
Omega
Part
level.
of Cyclops' original power was that his beams had no limit. It was entirely up to his ability, which is kind of like in every superhero thing. Like his power is only as strong as he is, but that's like part of his power is he is able to adjust it, the beams at his strongest, from like knocking over playing cards to a nuclear blast with absolute precision.
That's so cool.
He can deliver a blast that could kill a celestial cannon.
So it says he's Omega level?
He is Omega level.
Wow.
Cyclops
That's
is
so
Omega
cool.
level.
You know, Cyclops' brother is really cool.
Is Cyclops' brother?
Cyclops has a brother who, like, he has
Is he
like
the
these-
Frost guy?
No. He
Havoc?
is the one,
Yeah.
who has like the chest thing.
Well, he has the rings.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he the
He
ring
goes like,
guy from Days of Future Past?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he completely obliterates a city at one point.
Bro.
And he's the reason like a bunch of bad stuff happens with mutants.
They hate mutants.
One of
Because he
those
can't-
storylines because he has a really hard time controlling
Yeah.
it. And then also like I think something happens and he goes out of control and he blows up like just a nuke, like a small nuke, and the city is wiped out of existence. But yes, Scott and his brother like grow up and they both have these similar powers, you know, like these explosive beams. Of
I didn't know
energy.
they were related.
I'm pretty sure that's his brother, Havoc.
Dang.
But they just don't bring
yeah,
it up.
I think
it's
so.
it's not Future Past. It's
First class.
First class.
Oh, it's first
Or its
class.
origins.
That's what I meant.
Its origins. Its origins. It's played by who is that guy? David Spade.
David Spade.
David Spade.
Oh, you're just saying.
Yeah, no, it's not. That'd be great though.
As a mute.
Hey, get out of here.
That would be so good. His little, like tiny
Nonchalant.
mustache. David Spade's.
I like David Spade a lot.
looking.
During the quarantine, David Spade was putting out one of the only, what I think, like funny pieces
He's
of
not
media.
appropriate, by the way. I don't think we can really endorse.
His comedy specials are not appropriate,
No.
but
I
most
think
of
he's
like
probably tamed down.
David Spade in his movie roles and in the stuff he was putting out during the pandemic was appropriate. But he was like, because everyone, talk show hosts were doing their thing. He would do like his wrap up of news stuff, and it was just completely dry.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty
He's
funny.
pretty dry. He's
Yeah.
funny.
I love his delivery on stuff.
Isn't he the guy that was in Tommy Boy?
Yes.
far-
Yeah.
yeah.
He's very like,
I've never actually seen that movie.
It's pretty funny. There's like 4 movies though that are the exact same with those two.
yeah.
That one, Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
Except that's
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
I don't think
And
we should.
John
I don't think we
Candy.
should endorse Tommy Boy though. Or
No, they're not.
No, no.
I don't, no.
I've
I
never
don't-
seen it.
I don't
What
think
is that
any
guy's
of those
name?
are.
Chris
Candy.
Farley. No,
I haven't seen
Chris
this since I
Farley's
was
talking
like
about
12.
John Candy is
Transplanes. I did a monologue from Transplanes.
I did too.
I think we did the same one then.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Who can do it still? Those aren't pillows.
We did not do the same monologue. Mine starts off with like, oh, Chatty Cathy doll.
I will not remember it.
That is the one thing he calls him, a Chatty Cathy. You won't shut up like a Chatty Cathy doll. He says something like that. But it is Chatty Cathy doll. I remember that.
I
Aha.
believe you.
Yeah.
Funny line.
I don't
So, go ahead.
continue.
I was just going to move on.
Right.
To
Change
something
subjects.
maybe
I was just about to cause a giant divide in our fan base.
Do it.
do it.
No.
No, by all means.
No, we should really. I don't know if I find Chris Farley that funny.
Oh, I don't think anyone's going to care. There's going to be like 2 people out there that are like,
Tell us what you think
You know
down
what?
below.
I bet you one of the few people who would even have an opinion on either side might be Mikey Noodles.
Dude,
No
I love
offense.
Mikey Noodles.
Mikey Noodles is old enough to
But
have an opinion.
Well, that's not what I meant. But I just meant that, like, I feel like those sorts of comedians, Mikey has an opinion on.
In what direction?
We don't know, but
Oh,
he
no,
definitely
but he
has
has
an
an
opinion
opinion.
on
But
it.
like the SNL era, I feel like Mikey Noodles would have an opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll have to have him on.
Yes.
You know, in October, he's
Fest.
going to be here. The problem is, I don't know if there's really a day in there where we're going to be able to get an episode in with him. So we got.
He's here all October.
No.
Could you imagine?
I don't know if we can
that
fit
would be
him in.
so great.
That would be great. We got to get him on
He
if he's
has a
here.
job, so.
I know.
would he be here
I'm
on a
saying
Saturday?
What's he
it
doing
would
in
be so
Oregon?
great.
No, I want to have him on. It would be so fun because, like, we could have him on. We could have him Discord in, you
Right.
know, but have him in person.
But in person would
With
be
that
better.
hair?
Is he going to be here in like on a weekend or is it a weekday?
Yes, it's a weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh.
October 21st.
Oh.
Yeah.
We could do one before, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's going to be.
I know why.
It's
he's
going to
in
be a
Oregon.
very busy time.
I know why he's in Oregon.
I wanted to quickly talk about. It doesn't have to be quick, but I did want to talk about Sound of Freedom. Did you guys see it?
No.
No.
Well,
Were we supposed to?
I thought you would.
That was the homework.
We talked about
While
it.
we were at the
talked
show.
about it a few weeks ago, and it was. Well, you just weren't going to do it then. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and I thought we were all kind of like, "Yeah, we want to see it." So I went and saw it.
No, I
I'm
want
not
to
really
see
interested in
it.
seeing it.
I
Really?
just
No.
Why not?
It's a very heavy topic. I would support there's like an organization that you can donate to.
Yeah,
I'd rather just do that than see it. I just don't want to
I just think
care and
it's a
see
good
the
movie.
movie.
It's a good movie. It was great.
Sorry, I don't remember which one this one was.
Yeah, I think you weren't here on that episode. The
Jim
Sound of Freedom
Caviezel.
has a really interesting story.
Okay.
Just in the sense that, just from a political standpoint too, but it was a few years ago. It was crowdfunded, and like $14 million was raised for this movie, and then it was about child trafficking, or it is about child trafficking.
Okay.
And it's the retelling of a true story of this guy who worked for, I think, Homeland Security, and who was specifically protecting kids from sex trafficking. And he was like stopping people here that were like pedophiles that were putting up websites where you could purchase children and things like that. And it's really, really sad. And this guy was going through and I think the idea is that his struggle is that he's not stopping the root problem, but what he's doing is he's fixing the symptoms, kind of, right? Like that's a common theme throughout like any story or even in real life when there's a real problem. Like you want to stop things at the root cause, you don't want to stop them, but it's still better to stop them, when they're at the end than not at all. But so like there's just this theme at the beginning where
you don't want to only exist to dampen its effects. You want to actually cut out the roots.
Exactly.
Like,
And I think the idea is that that's how he feels, because he is catching all of these predators. And that's how the movie opens. Like this great sting operation. They catch this guy who's evil. And then they kind of go back. But I really wanted to see it. The reason we talked about it in the past was just because in America, like there's no way objectively you can say that this movie, there's anything about it other than if it's like, like Jude was saying, it's an uncomfortable subject. So maybe you don't want to watch it for that reason. It might there's a lot in it that's difficult. It's a difficult subject. Other than that, you can't really say like it has a bad message. Like there's so many movies that come out now, and it's like,
it's like the movie's enjoyable, but the message, if you actually look at it, is like, well, the message isn't.
The message is horrible. But this one, it's like I think it's both enjoyable. Enjoyable in the sense it is a good movie. And it's got an incredible message, and it stands for something. It's really, really standing for something, and it's calling out this evil in the world. It's trying to do something about it. It wants the story of these children to be heard, and of course, people on a specific side of things are hating it. The side that Hollywood is on, and they've inexplicably given no reason, right? It's just because it's made by Christians, right? And it has a Christian message. And what's crazy is because of the visceral reaction that side has given to it, I assumed going into it, this must have a very based Christian message.
And it wasn't there.
Dude, believers believe these things, of course, because we should, but it is just a like plain obvious message of child trafficking is evil. That's the message. And it shouldn't happen, and we should do whatever we can to stop it, and we're not doing enough. That's the message.
Yeah.
There's two parts in the movie that you can really, really go, oh, that's Christian, like that's a Christian message. The one part, he quotes scripture and says, may you have a millstone tied around your neck. The second time, he just says, someone says, why are you doing this? Like, why are you trying to save these kids? Why haven't you done, why can't you see that you've already done enough? And he says, God's children are not for sale. That's as Christian as it gets. Like I think maybe that line happens twice. God's children are not for sale, but like that's as Christian as it gets. He might be seen praying with his wife at one point, but I don't think he does. It's just that it's made by Christians, and so they have to dampen it. And also, it also is proving like politically just the nonsense of the whole Hollywood machine too. Because like the weekend it came out, 4th of July weekend, it was released against all odds. Like a bunch of companies tried to keep it from being released and stuff. Yeah. And it traveled like no production company would take it, all this stuff. And eventually Angel Studios, who produces The Chosen, they picked it up and released it. Which is so cool too, because they do this thing where like they do it with The Chosen, but like if they just they believe in what they're doing and they want the stories they're telling to just be heard. So like even if you can't afford a ticket, like there's a pay it forward program for Chosen and for this movie. Like if you stay at the end, Jim Caviezel talks to the crowd and he's like, take a screen or take a picture of this QR code, and if you want to make sure someone can see this movie, pay for a ticket for them. And I think that stuff is so cool. Yeah. But no, the movie comes out 4th of July weekend against all odds because it's been years just sitting there trying to release, and it's been done, and it wasn't able to release. And same weekend that new Indiana Jones movie comes out, right? Another one of the Hollywood machines, like garbage,
greatest
warm
movies.
spittle, regurgitated sort of, ruining of an old franchise. Yeah. But forget all that for a second. It's a 30-year-old franchise, right? Yeah. So it should be able to demand viewership. Yeah. If it wasn't garbage. And it cost $500 million to make. Not even just to market. $500 million to make this movie. And Sound of Freedom beat it. Did you know that, like, at least last week, for the weeks that they had both been out, Mission Impossible. So you know how everybody's saying like proportionally Sound of Freedom made more money than all these other movies
Yeah.
because of its budget because of its profit. Gross income, it made more money than Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible tanked in the box office.
Oh, really?
Dude,
Worldwide?
really?
Like it might have just been domestically, but the 150 million at the time that I had seen this that Sound of Freedom had made, it was millions of dollars ahead of, even if it was $1 million.
Yeah, that's
ahead.
still crazy.
Mission Impossible 11 or whatever. should
A
be able to
franchise that
demand-
hasn't been steadily declining.
well, but like
I mean, in comparison to
yeah.
Indiana Jones.
No, you're right. Like
Where the franchise was killed and then brought back to be killed.
Brought back.
Brought
and
back
they're
to be
literally
killed again.
shooting a dead horse.
Yeah, they're literally shooting a dead horse.
Yeah, no, Mission Impossible has had strength
Well, no, they're
behind
just
it, and
beating
it's
it.
and I saw that movie and I thought it was interesting. I mean, it was nothing phenomenal, but like it had reasons to watch it. But like, it's wild that like people do care about truth, and they do care, and like, and obviously Hollywood does not, but they do care, and they will put their money where their mouth is, and so much so that like this high octane action thriller with the craziest stunts that have ever been done and all this stuff, gross income, it hasn't made its money back, and Sound of Freedom beat it in gross income.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's even more insane to me than the proportional thing, because it's like, duh, Hollywood movies are $500 million all the time, and they barely make their money back, and then they do one tentpole one every 10 years or 6 years, like Endgame, that makes $5 billion, and then they're like, whoa, we're incredible. But like the fact that Sound of Freedom, this movie made by believers, at least there were believers involved, there's a scandal there or whatever, but like I believe it was made by believers, and with a wonderful message, and it's also a good movie, because so many Christian movies are like not great.
Yeah.
And every now and then there's good ones, and this one is a great movie, and everybody, I just wish believers, I'm just ranting, but I just wish believers could like, it's kind of like with the Chosen thing, why do we have to pick everything apart? Like, why can't we just go,
Why can't we just have a win on our own side?
yeah, man, it's
Dude.
like they're already attacking us enough. Like, why do we also have to be like,
we eat our
like you brought
own.
up the scandal of it being made by Christians, which is like, if you watch this movie, if you do any insignificant amount of research about this movie, and you don't realize that whatever merit a movie gleans from being made by Christians, this movie has.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere in the Bible where it says Christians need to make movies, and there's nowhere in the Bible where it says movies need to be made by Christians.
No, but you could find
like
verses to help
whatever
support those ideas.
whatever good thing is coming from Christian influence on these movies,
Yeah.
name drop, this has.
We had nothing to
this
do with it.
clearly has. And it's just insane that like the message is undeniably good.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's causing friction is that the message is undeniably good from a place of Christianity because of what who the movie is made and released by. It's
You're
like
talking
just
about from
because
the perspective of the world,
just from the perspective
I'm
of the
talking-
world.
Yeah, there's
I
that.
know, but I just switched the perspective of the world.
Yeah,
For
sorry.
believers, also, I think it's like
It's
the
just
believers
infighting.
can't look at
It's
this and
it's
go
like
like,
denominational infighting, or also the persnickety,
ridiculous.
like
The
well,
Mormon-
Jim Caviezel is Catholic,
Right,
not
yeah.
Protestant, or even worse, like Angel Studios has, and I don't believe that Mormons are believers, but like there's just this scandal about Mormon influence with Angel Studios, and it's like,
watch.
okay, Angel Studios though, even if I throw them that bone, like let's say I go, yeah, Angel Studios, it's just rife with Mormon influence, and it's just but they at least were like, they had nothing to do with the production, the creation of the movie. They just said, we believe this movie's good, and it should be
Licensing and
released.
distribution.
So why do we release it? Like,
Yeah.
even if that, like, can you not just at least go like, oh, thanks, Mormons?
But isn't Angel Studio producing The Chosen?
They are doing that.
Yeah.
Too. That
But if they're Mormons, why would they do a Jesus?
I don't believe that Angel.
Accuracy.
My understanding, and I could be wrong. My understanding is not that Angel Studios is entirely Mormon. I think
No,
that-
it's crazy, Byron. You just brought up like first level thought. Everyone
Yeah.
else seems to be missing. Why are they telling such a down to earth, grounded Jesus story
because
if the
it's a
whole
secret
thing is a
conspiracy.
Mormon plot?
They want to get you, and then at the end,
Dude.
they're going to have Jesus say, "I'm Lucifer's brother."
Right? Yeah. In the very
No.
yeah, Judas will
Obviously
like.
Because they're doing a biblically accurate, to the best of our abilities, movie.
To the best of their ability. So yeah, it seems so far.
What was
Not
there
our
a quote
abilities, but
from a
their
non-biblical scripture?
Ours would be much worse.
I saw a headline. I never even looked at
Yeah,
it. But
no, I did see it.
Was that a thing?
It's the new season. Jesus says,
Book of Moses.
yeah, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so no, The Chosen, it certainly hasn't, in my opinion, hasn't like completely fallen, but like there's a line where Jesus says to somebody, like, what does he say? Oh, something about the law of Moses, like you're not following the law of Moses, and then Jesus goes, I am the law of Moses. And it's like they wrote that, and it's kind of this cool mic droppy kind of thing. But then people found that like it's in the book of Nephi or something in there, like which
Some
is a
silly
Mormon.
goose,
Yeah,
yeah.
which so if that's true, like if that's why that's in there, I think there's a possibility that people let their humanity get ahead of them and their artistic choice, and they tried to give Jesus a mic drop moment.
Yes.
and they didn't realize. But I think that there's some similar wording in a Book of Mormon verse. And so that doesn't look good.
It just seems like the infighting from believers is specifically around The Chosen, is that they're expecting this show to be a Bible. Like
Right.
they're expecting this
Which the
show to
creators
be
of
a
the show
new
are
translation
constantly saying.
of the Bible, like it's scripture, which it's not.
Doesn't each episode say there's creative license taken in this?
I think so.
Yeah.
The creative license has been taken. We try to get it as accurate as we can, but there is no way that we could produce a perfect.
Something to that effect, but also like regularly the creators are very adamant about that, and they're a very, very vocal group of creators too. Like they're talking to people all the time. They're giving regular updates to all their fans, and they've faced so much criticism. And I think for the most part, the creator Dallas Jenkins has done a pretty good job of facing the criticism. I don't think he's always been as strong on some points that like I would want to be, but that's fine. Like he's defended the show and said like, dude, I'm just trying to serve God. And I think he goes to like a Baptist church or something. So he is not a Mormon. Now, I don't love that I think he did say at one point, like he didn't come out and say like Mormons aren't believers, but because of his position and his situation, he hasn't said that. Now I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me to throw stones, but like I think he's done a good job. And I think as long as they just do their best to make the show about the story of Christ, and they are eagerly seeking to serve God and make something that serves God and hopefully can convict people, and for believers it can give them something to encourage them and to see the story of Christ, and the truth of Christ in a new way, but a truthful way, hopefully. And maybe it reinvigorates people to like go to scripture. And I think it absolutely has for a lot of people. And then for people who are not believers or are going to see it and go like, oh, you know what? Maybe I want to go to the source material. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty incredible. And I think it has had that effect. It's just that nothing's ever going to be perfect. And that's like the point, man. We're not going to be perfect. Like it's
crazy.
It's like you're believers. Like you guys know this. We're not perfect and we're never going to be perfect. So nothing we make is ever going to be perfect. And of course, it's not going to be as perfect as the Word of God because we're making it. But what we're trying to do is to glorify God with the thing that we're making. And you're believers. Like, oh man, it just bothers me. So that's happening with the Sound of Freedom too, of course. But I think overwhelmingly, it's just something interesting about it is that people crave truth and goodness right now. They really do. And they're willing to show that they will support it. And I just think that that's cool. And Sound of Freedom has seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely both encouraging and frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Outperforming Mission Impossible is insane to know that like
I mean,
just
that's still true, but
Christians in mainstream media don't have a voice almost at all. And so when you hear those numbers, it's such a like, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. We're still here. Like we're still
here.
all over the place.
Boys, we're still here.
It's
We
not
got
the
this.
two churches that I like in my town that are like the Christians in America. It's like we're still here. And it's nice to see, even if it's just a number, it's nice to see that.
is it 7 that just came out?
Mission Impossible? I have no idea. Last one I saw was Henry Cavill, and that's second to Lewis, I believe.
28.
Huh?
Mission Impossible
28.
28.
Yeah.
Ghost.
I think it might be
Proctology.
7 because that was what was coming out the top.
It was 7, yeah. Domestic. It must be domestic.
Yeah, I didn't think worldwide would be insane.
Worldwide, we would
Considering Sound of Freedom isn't even getting
because
shown in some
worldwide, Sound
places.
of Freedom's
I
probably
think
not-
it was just that first weekend it came out that they both came out. Sound of Freedom had done more.
Yeah, it's an explosive like opening
But that's
night.
even if they were remotely close. Because what I'm seeing is within a full week of Mission Impossible being out, it was like in the low 200 millions. And then Sound of Freedom had done 175 million. So they're really like that's like a huge blockbuster though. I mean, Mission Impossible nowhere near made its money back, and they kind of count on that in the first weekend. So,
But like the point isn't that it surpassed Mission Impossible. The point is that Mission Impossible holds this,
Yeah.
and we were even able to reach that.
yeah,
And even go beyond that in a little bit.
for
It's like
14 million, which for a movie is like nothing to
Yeah.
make a movie. That's insane. $14 million.
that's like a supporting actor in a B-rate film. That's their budget of the film.
I would no. That's a supporting
14
actor
million?
in a B-rate
It's
film.
it's
No.
less. It's
in
like
a-
the catering.
Like
Most
Avengers.
major, yeah.
In Avengers,
It's like the catering for an Avengers movie.
No,
In
it's not that
Avengers,
either.
Some of the characters, like some of the main people in like the
Yeah.
Avengers movies, get paid like
Not the
15
B-rate,
million.
but the non-Captain Americas, I should say.
Yeah, because like RDJ would get paid like 75 million
Yeah.
for a movie, and I think that like Tom Holland probably got paid 15 million. You know,
I'm looking at you, Jeremy Renner.
Jim Renner definitely only made like 5 million. Poor guy. Even the last one, he's like, I'll come back for another though.
I would love a Hawkeye movie.
We got a Hawkeye show.
Dude, Samuel L. Jackson gets
did.
20 million for just
Every
appearing.
appearance. Yeah.
Yeah, and like so, after credit scene, if he's there for a split second, he gets 20 million.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
That seems ridiculous.
That's part of his contract with it. That every single product that he's in, he gets baseline 20 million, and then it's more for like when he's longer in the show or movie.
So that's why they're only allowing like having one scene.
That's why he's only in the after
Well, no,
credit scenes.
I would use him as much as I could if I have to pay him 20 million just for a second, but 20 million for an appearance. Like if he could be in the movie for 20 million or be in it for a second for 20 million. Why would you
I think it goes up from 20 million.
No, it goes
25
up from 20 million.
20 million is his appearance
Like
fee.
is baseline. This is how much to get me onto the screen.
there's so much
and then it's
money.
this much for.
so much money just being
$20 million.
My brain can't even fathom that much. It's so much.
Well, we're running a little late.
Yeah,
and we have to do another one of these. So if you're watching right now, next week you're going to see us wearing the same things.
It's back to
But
back.
in different spots.
Oh crap!
Wait, what?
I do need to stand up and walk around.
I don't really know how much we really commented on all those things, other than expressing the frustration. But like, Sound of Freedom is a movie; it's incredible. And like, if it's still in theaters where you are by the time this episode comes out, support it. Like, I think go see it. It's a good movie. It's an understandable thing. Like, if it's a difficult subject matter and you don't want to watch a movie about that, I think that they do it tastefully and in an honoring way. Like, it's not gross or gratuitous, but it has a wonderful message. And if nothing else, if you don't go see it, as someone who did see it, it's heartbreaking that this stuff goes on in the world. And it's easy to say that because we can say that at any time, right? But and I've cried in a movie before, man, but I haven't left a movie and on the way home been crying about it. Like, that's totally different. And it's like, it's so infuriating that this movie coming out and trying to release alone is proof, like the reaction to it and the way it's been sequestered is proof in and of itself of what the movie's trying to say, which is that we aren't really doing anything about this as like Americans or just people here, and we are absolutely part of the problem. I don't mean we as in the four of us necessarily, but like the arbitrary, like bureaucratic mess, because a huge message in that movie is that he's trying to do this, but like the people that run the Homeland Security or whatever that he works for are not allowing him to do it because it's like too risky or it's going to cost too much money to send him and save these children, right? And the release of this movie and how it's been like sequestered, and people are just irrationally with no explanation just like trying to put it down, and people that are just like saying the quiet part out loud and like rated movies that are basically sexual or that are sexualizing children, rated them as 10 out of 10, and are now saying that this movie is dangerous and bad. Like all of that just helps deafen people to the problem that is sin is rampant in the world. And a huge part of it right now is just that children are being sexualized. And like America is allowing it, and that feeds into this horrible issue that is really sad and heartbreaking all over the world. So we've talked about it before, and I know some people have responded to this when we talked about the Target thing, but like for believers, I really think the onus is on us. Just take a second, like Jude said earlier about what Byron said about The Chosen. Like, oh, that's the one extra step of thought that all it takes. Like, think about the things we're doing, the things we're supporting, and the things that we're not supporting, and choose to support good things, right? And that's like tithe, man. Like, our generation is not tithing. Like, give money to your church, give service and time to your church, and then like consider the ways you spend your money, because our money is making its way to people that are doing horribly hurtful things. And it doesn't mean that you're saying, I think children should be trafficked. But I do think that we should be thinking about where our money goes, especially as believers. And our money goes to a lot of the people that are responsible for a lot of these things. So I was willing to throw a little of my money to the people that are trying to talk about it. So I think that the movie's great. And I think that I'm happy to support it. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Okay.
You should watch it.
I should.
Yeah. It's still playing in Northern Lights.
Really?
Yeah.
You could see it with a bag of our kettle corn.
Yeah, our kettle corn is at Northern Lights Theater Pub now.
Oh, it is?
Really?
Caramel corn.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Dang. Wait, what about the kettle corn?
No, they just want a caramel. All right, guys. Is there anything else we want to say about that? I want to make sure that we got that in so it's not in the next episode. All right.
Evil people are gross.
Evil people are gross. And we're all a little gross.
Some more than others.
That's right. And we wouldn't name names, but we know who we're talking about.
Yeah. But Christ is King. Say Christ is Lord.
Say Christ is Lord.
and he washes us clean.
Yeah.
Because he's the only clean one. All right, bingo, bingo, bongo. Thank you guys for being here. We love you very much.
Roll the outro.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.